Hey Radicals! I hope that everybody out there is having a great weekend and that everyone who celebrates Thanksgiving had a wonderful Thanksgiving dinner with their friends and family. I wanted to take a minute today to respond to Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian. Both of them mentioned me, not by name, but in two different videos last month. And sorry that I didn't respond a little bit sooner, but it's just been very crazy for me lately. I was on vacation, I had family stuff going on, and as many of you know, this is actually still not my full-time job. That is actually going to be changing pretty soon, though, and I am going to be devoting a lot more time to journalism. So please do stay on the lookout for more content coming from me soon. But in any case, I did want to respond to Anna Kasparian and Cenk Uygur. Again, they did mention me twice last month, and I think that this is pretty funny in the context of my challenge to Cenk Uygur to come on this show and respond to allegations that the $20 million that he received from Jeffrey Katzenberg has influenced his journalism. But just to get started, I actually did want to go all the way back to the beginning. So the first time I think I remember hearing about TYT was probably between 2009 and 2011, roughly around that time period. I had a friend who liked TYT a lot, and I remember that I tried to watch them a couple times, but I just didn't like the whole shock jock thing. I didn't find them that funny. I thought they were kind of smarmy, and I saw that they were trying to capitalize on the popularity of Obama to be this kind of establishment liberal voice with a progressive twist. As I mentioned a few times on this show, I really came of age during the Iraq anti-war movements. And pretty early on in my political experience, I kind of saw the division between the establishment liberals and the real anti-war radicals out there. On the one hand, you had the Cynthia McKinneys and the Cindy Sheehans, and on the other hand, you had the Barack Obamas and the Nancy Pelosi's. So anyway, I really ignored TYT for many years after that. I didn't watch them at all. I didn't really know what they were doing. And then during the 2016 election, I started maybe knowing a little bit about them. I believe that they had Bernie Sanders on at one point. But still, I never really took them seriously as a real left-wing voice. So then in 2019, I read an article by Robbie Yeager called The Ideological Failure of the Young Turks. This article is great. I encourage everyone out there, if you have not read this yet, please do go read this article. It doesn't just cover their financial backers. It also talks about their relationships with people who work in corporate media. It's a great read. Again, please do go read this article, The Ideological Failure of the Young Turks by Robbie Yeager. That's Jaeger. So in late 2019, this is when I really started to cover the Young Turks. I had Robbie Yeager on this show to discuss this article. And also around this time was the first time that I had Jimmy Dore on the show. I asked him about TYT. He really wasn't that critical of them at the time. Same thing with Aaron Mate. Around the same time, I had him on the show and asked him about TYT, and he was not that critical of them. Honestly, I think that I was kind of pushing Aaron Mate and Jimmy Dore to come out and say that TYT were frauds really before it seemed that they were ready to. But as all of you know, that changed this year with the big falling out that they had back in May and June. And one real feature of this feud was the focus on the $20 million that TYT received in 2017 by Jeffrey Katzenberg and others. For example, Twitter user Diane Bullock brought it to my attention that in June, while Jeffrey Katzenberg was lobbying the LA City Council to pass anti-camping laws that would target the homeless, Anna Kasparian started ranting about the homeless on TYT.
I do think that there are progressives, I don't know if it's progressive policy, but progressives in places like California who have made terrible decisions. And so one of those terrible decisions is essentially doing away with anti-camping laws, right? Allowing people to camp out wherever they want, whenever they want. And if, like, we have a homeless problem in California, we have it all throughout the country, but it's particularly bad in California. And so the argument is, well, if there isn't public housing available for people, they should be allowed to camp out. Okay, but there's also a problem right now where there is public housing available and individuals will say, no, I don't want to take it. I don't want to follow the rules in the public housing. And so as a result, I would rather camp out. Progressive lawmakers are like, we should allow them to camp out. And you know what happens? Crime happens. Open air drug markets happen, and it's the truth. These are the facts of the matter. In fact, it was addressed in this Daily Beast article, and honestly, it was cathartic to read it because everyone denies that this is happening.
When I posted this clip on Twitter, it got hundreds of thousands of views, and it was around this time that Anna Kasparian blocked me on Twitter. Then on September 30th, I ratioed Cenk Uygur on Twitter when he was talking about taking a $1,000 donation to charity to call Joe Rogan a loser to his face. I responded that I would make a $5,000 donation if he would come on this show to talk about how Jeffrey Katzenberg's money has influenced TYT. This tweet got 1,100 likes more than Jenks, so he undoubtedly saw it. He knows that I've extended the offer several different times for him to come on this show and talk about this issue. I've repeatedly assured him that I would be objective on this subject. I would not berate him. I would let him talk. And I would just pose him simple questions for him to answer, that questions that everyone has about this. So despite all of these online interactions obviously getting Jank and Anna's attention, what apparently really made them want to respond to me finally was my recent interview with Noam Chomsky. Now, they brought up two different aspects of this interview, both the subject of COVID restrictions and vaccine passports, as well as me asking Noam Chomsky about the influence of Jeffrey Katzenberg's money over TYT.
What charge are you claiming is taking up the imperialist line?
Well, specifically, when you have Aaron Mate, who reported on the OPCW whistleblower report, who's reported on what's been happening on the ground in Syria, who won an award for debunking Russiagate and showing how Russiagate was a complete fraud. When you have progressive media outlets trying to slander him and smear him, saying that he is being paid for by the Russians.
Well, what slander do you have in mind?
Saying that he's being paid for by the Russians because of the fact that
if anybody says that, of course, I would condemn it. I also thought that Russiagate was a total fraud and said so openly. I get slandered all the time.
Now, it was the latter subject that Anna Kasparian brought up during her conversation with Vosh recently. I'm going to play that clip for you here. This is Anna Kasparian trying to characterize my question to Noam Chomsky about Jeffrey Katzenberg's money influencing TYT as being nothing more than Twitter drama.
I don't know if you saw this video. I saw it last night and I was just dying. I was like in bed right before I was going to sleep. My husband's dead asleep and I'm just cracking up. There's this guy, I forget the name of his show. He's this bald guy who interviewed Noam Chomsky recently. And he decided to ask Noam Chomsky about like ridiculous online drama. And I was both laughing, but felt so deeply embarrassed by all of it, because here you have Noam Chomsky, regardless of what you think about him personally, one of the greatest minds of our time, getting asked about online feuds between total, by the way, I'm part of that, right? You're total irrelevant garbage, and he's getting asked about it. I think about those types of situations, and I don't know, I'm just like, maybe there needs to be just a minimal level of journalistic training, like something.
So just one thing on that last point that I wanted to mention about journalistic integrity. I actually have studied journalism. I wrote for school newspapers and local newspapers for years. A lot of my heroes are journalists and writers, including Hunter S. Thompson, Matt Taibbi, and Glenn Greenwald. I take journalism seriously, and the very reason that I asked Noam Chomsky that question was because I think that the quote-unquote journalism of TYT has been corrupted by Jeffrey Katzenberg's money. Again, I think that a prominent example of this is Anna Kasparian ranting about homeless people on TYT right while Jeffrey Katzenberg was lobbying the LA City Council to pass anti-camping laws. That is a conflict of interest, and that is a clear indication that Anna Kasparian has zero journalistic integrity. Unlike Anna Kasparian, I actually have a background in doing real journalism, not guess the camel toe, not laughing about upskirt pictures of celebrities.
Anna Kasparian, what's going on with Britney Spears?
Britney Spears is basically flashing her dimpled butt cheeks all over the place.
All right, let me see what we got here. There's rumors out that Vanessa Hudgens had naked pictures on the internet. We have found them. And now TMZ is confirming it is her. All right, Jesus, you ready? Give him a sneak peek. A little bit. There you go. Okay. Look, there was the white dots on there too. First of all, you can't show naked pictures on YouTube. Second of all, I'm not sure I want to show. I don't know how old she is there. But that leads us to our real question. Look, the girl is clearly cute. She's just 18. That's all she is. Okay, but look, she looks really good there. She looks like a woman there. So my question is it okay to lust after 18-year-old girls?
Wait, maybe they'll be able to look at the picture on our website. No? Yes?
Oh, on our website?
Yeah.
You want to put it up there?
Yeah, I think we should. YoungTurks.com.
So Anna, please never try to lecture me about journalism, because you are literally the last person that should be lecturing anybody on earth about journalism. Now, if that wasn't enough, Cenk and Anna actually spent another 10 minutes of their show talking about me. And this was in regards to the other subject that I interviewed Noam Chomsky about, that being COVID restrictions and vaccine passports. Now, I'm not going to air the entire clip here. It's pretty long. But here's Cenk criticizing me. Again, this is a person who I have invited on this show for a $5,000 donation to any charity of his choice to discuss claims that Jeffrey Katzenberg's money has influenced his journalism. He has completely ignored that invitation, but here is him talking about me. And then here's Anna, again, trying to brush everything off as identity politics and not important. Because, again, nothing's really important to Anna unless you're criticizing Jimmy Dore or Aaron Mate or spreading CIA lies about Russia and Syria or ranting about how the homeless are spreading drugs and crime in Los Angeles.
So Chomsky today did an interview with rando dude online. And now the parts of the supposed left that are actually total and utter right-wingers now is this guy. Appears to be part of that group. He's too small for me to even notice who he is, other than he would have Jimmy Dore on and say stupid stuff, and he'd be like, oh yeah, right? And so now they've all become anti-vax guys, and so. And I saw all of them chiming in. Max Blumenthal, all these guys, they're all against Noam Chomsky. They're all smarter than Noam Chomsky now, okay? I don't, these right-wingers and the fake left-wingers who are actual right-wingers.
Yeah.
What's like, how can you not see that simple logic?
For me, the biggest tell that these are really just right-wingers is the fact that they continue harping on the vaccine mandate issue, which is nothing more than a thoughtless culture war issue at this point, right? Whether you're vaxxed or unvaxxed is the latest in the identity politics. And it's not identity politics based on your race or your gender or your sexual orientation or anything like. This is the identity politics regarding your vaccination status, and it's a massive distraction from issues that actually do matter. So are there still people who are vaccine hesitant? Sure, yeah. But what Biden did with his vaccine mandate, which did not really pertain to workers in private companies, it really just had to do with federal employees, government employees, is he gave corporations the green light to implement their own vaccine mandates. And once they did that, the vast majority of their workers who, including some of whom were vaccine hesitant, were like, all right, I guess I have to go get the vaccine. So United Airlines, perfect example, more than 95% of their workers ended up getting vaccinated. Tyson Foods, similar statistics, right? Everyone is pretty much in favor of vaccine mandates, with the exception of those who have decided to turn it into a culture war issue and go out of their way to like overblow the number of Americans who refuse to get vaccinated, okay? Most people are getting vaccinated once the vaccine mandate is implemented at their workplace. I'm kind of over this, and I find the whole topic deeply boring.
Now, obviously, this is hilarious given that, again, this is a Jeffrey Katzenberg funded media outlet saying that they are the real left because, as we all know, billionaires fund the real left, right? That's the Democrat-friendly left who swallows all of the propaganda that they hear from the CIA and the FBI about Russia and China and Syria and Cuba and Venezuela and Nicaragua.
So first of all, is Cuba an authoritarian regime? Absolutely. Would I prefer that the people of Cuba have freedom? Absolutely. And actual democracy, which they do not have now. Okay, the Castros have been in charge forever. It's clearly a dictatorship, okay? And all the dreams of communism are honestly nonsense. There was never any communism there. Communism almost always turns into dictatorships, and that's what it turned into here.
That's the real left who claims that Aaron Mate is funded by these horrible foreign dictators. That's the real left who rants about the homeless. That's the real left who pals around with Ben Shapiro. That's the real Beverly Hills left, the rich millionaire left, the ones who don't work real jobs, and the ones who attack anti-imperialists, including me, someone who Cenk says is too small for his attention. Yet here's Anna and Cenk ranting about me on 2 different occasions, while also ignoring my invitation to come on this show and respond to the criticisms that they are beholden to corporate money. But they won't do that because they know that if they were to do that, they would be outed as the fake left because they can't respond to any of these criticisms. I will gladly talk to Cenk Uygur about why I think it's important that working class Americans not have to show vaccine passports wherever they go for whatever they do. I'll gladly have that conversation. Will Cenk have the conversation about imperialism and about lies about Russia influencing our elections and Assad gassing his own people? Will Cenk have those conversations? Will Anna have conversations about anti-camping laws being passed in Los Angeles that are criminalizing homelessness? Something that she was against just a couple years ago, but somehow, while Jeffrey Katzenberg is lobbying the LA City Council, that is when she takes it upon herself to miraculously change her opinion and now be anti-homeless. These two people are cowards and clowns. I don't know how anyone on the left could possibly take them seriously for a fraction of a second. They are reformed shock jocks who profited off of putting up pictures of naked women on their website, and now more recently, they're taking investment money from these giant corporations and Democratic Party donors and telling you that the left-wing thing to do is support the Democratic Party because the Democratic Party is the only thing protecting us from the Republicans. Can't you see how every time we vote for Democrats, everything gets better? Isn't it so much better under Biden now? Let's see how great things are in a couple of months when 45 million people in this country have to start repaying their student loan debt. Let's see how great the working class is doing in this country when nobody can afford to buy anything because our money's worthless, wages aren't rising, nobody can afford medical treatment, and you have to pay for an education that is worthless. But Cenk and Anna don't want to talk about any of that. They want to attack me and Aaron Mate and Jimmy Dore and anyone who's on the real anti-imperialist left because they are left Inc. They are the corporate left. They are the imperialist left. They're the establishment left. They're the elitist left. They are the fake left. They are the controlled opposition left. They are the left that is meant to brainwash all of us into supporting the Democratic Party and this transatlantic police state that wants to force us all into being obedient wage slaves who every 4 years vote for Republicans and vote for Democrats, vote for Republicans, vote for Democrats. Never try to organize a general strike. Never try to question the narratives that were being fed by the corporate media and the corporate media light like TYT. So Cenk and Anna, you can come on this show, I'll go on your show, and I'll show you to be the fucking frauds that you are because that's all that you are. Fucking clowns.
You have to earn people's trust. And I think and I hope that we've been doing that for 15 years for you guys. But every single day, we got to earn it again. So judge us on our product, on our videos, on what we say, the message that we put out there, and how we fight for you. And if you think we're not fighting for you, then get rid of us and go find someone else who will.